Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping right into a massive theological puzzle from the 16th century, one that really gets to the heart of Christianity. We're going to look at how the reformer John Calvin tackled one of the faith's deepest mysteries. So this is the big one, right? How can one single person be both infinite, all-powerful God and, at the same time, a finite, limited human being? This was the central question John Calvin zeroed in on, and he was building on centuries of debate. It's a paradox, and Calvin's whole approach was to build a framework that could honor both sides of this incredible divine equation. All right, so Calvin's answer starts with one absolutely crucial principle: a unity of person with a duality of natures. To really get what he's saying, you've got to hold these two ideas, this unity and this duality, in perfect tension. Okay, so what does this unity of person actually mean? Well, the key here is the word distinct. Calvin was super precise about this. He's saying Christ is one single person, not two guys sharing a body. And his divine nature and his human nature, they stay totally separate, pure. It's not like divinity got blended into humanity like paint. Nope, the Son of God became the Son of Man, a totally unique union. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, this whole idea can feel kind of abstract, right? So to make it concrete, Calvin uses this amazing analogy, and it's something we're all experts on: ourselves. Think about it. You have a soul and a body. They are not the same thing, are they? Your body gets hungry. Your soul doesn't. But when you say, "I'm hungry," who's talking? The whole you is. It's one person. And that's exactly Calvin's point. He argued that just like your soul and body make up one person, Christ's divinity and humanity form one person. Two totally distinct natures, one single identity. Okay, so because of this one person idea, the Bible starts to talk about Jesus in some really, well, fascinating ways. Ways that might even sound like contradictions at first. But for Calvin, this wasn't a mistake. It was actually a way of speaking that points to a much deeper truth about who Christ is. So this is what theologians call the communicating of properties. It sounds complicated, but it's basically a figure of speech. Here's the deal. Because Jesus is one person, you can say things about his divine side that are technically only true of his human side, and the other way around. This kind of language hammers home that unbreakable union. And honestly, it's the only way to make sense of how an infinite God could actually suffer and die for people. And you see this all over the place in the Bible. Look at these examples. The Lord of Glory was crucified. Wait a minute, the Lord of Glory can't suffer, right? That's a human thing. Or God purchased the church with his blood. God doesn't have blood. But see, because the one person who is God also became a man with a body that could bleed and suffer, the Bible can talk like this. It's constantly reminding us, one person, two natures. And this is so important because it's what gives that human sacrifice an infinite divine value. So you can see why Calvin was so passionate about getting this balance just right. For him, this wasn't just some intellectual exercise. It was about steering clear of some major historical errors, heresies, that he thought could shipwreck the entire faith. Yeah, he basically saw two giant pitfalls on either side of the path. You lean too far one way, you pull Jesus apart. You lean too far the other way, you mush his two natures into something they're not. It's like a theological tightrope, and one wrong step is a disaster. So on one side, you had the error of Nestorius. He basically split Jesus in two, making it sound like there was a divine person and a human person, just kind of roommates in the same body, a double Christ. Then on the other side, you had Eutyches. His mistake was the opposite. He fused the two natures together, mixing them into some new third thing that wasn't really God and wasn't really man. And Calvin's point was simple. Both are wrong. You can't separate them, and you can't blend them. Now, this wasn't just about old, dead heretics. Calvin used this same framework to take on a very real, very present threat in his own time, a man named Michael Servetus. Whoa. A no less deadly monster. I mean, you can hear how serious Calvin was about this. This wasn't some friendly debate over coffee. For Calvin, the stakes couldn't have been higher. This was a battle for the very soul of the Christian faith. So what was Servetus's big error, at least in Calvin's eyes? Well, he claimed that Jesus wasn't the eternal Son of God. He only became the Son when he was born. And he saw Jesus as this compound, this mixture of God's essence and human flesh. See the problem? It sounds a lot like that old error of Eutyches, blending the natures into one new thing. And for Calvin, this was a disaster. Why? Because it wrecked the whole idea of salvation. Think about it. We needed a mediator who was 100% God so he could defeat death. And we needed him to be 100% human so he could die in our place. If you start mixing those two, you get neither. By turning Jesus' humanity into some kind of divine substance, Calvin felt that Servetus was erasing the very thing that made him our Redeemer, his genuine, true humanity. And so, it all comes back to this. This is the whole ballgame for Calvin. One person, that's the key. Two natures, totally distinct, never mixed, but never ever separated, all united in that one single person. It's the only way, in his mind, to solve the puzzle without destroying the mystery. So what this all brings us to is a really challenging question, right? When does a deep theological disagreement stop being just a debate and become a matter of salvation itself? For a thinker like John Calvin, the answer was clear. The identity of Christ wasn't just a fascinating puzzle, it was the truth that everything else, absolutely everything, depended on.